The morning sun blazes down on the Arizona truck stop as 18-wheelers rumble in and out like steel giants. Dust swirls around the parking lot where Sam Thompson, a heavy-set man in his 50s wearing a faded flannel shirt, walks slowly toward the diner. His massive frame moves with deliberate steps, and sweat already beads on his forehead despite the early hour. But what happened next shocked everyone who witnessed it. The roar of motorcycle engines suddenly cuts through the diesel fumes as 5 Harley-Davidsons thunder into the lot. The lead bike belongs to Jake Henderson, a lean man with sun-weathered skin and arms covered in tattoos. His crew follows behind him, rough-looking bikers in leather vests, their machines gleaming chrome and black paint. Jake kills his engine and surveys the truck stop with predatory eyes. His gaze lands on Sam, who's now standing by the diner entrance, coffee cup in hand. Well, Jake says loudly, his voice carrying across the lot. Look what we got here, boys. Looks like someone's been hitting the all-you-can-eat buffet a little too hard. His crew chuckles as they dismount their bikes. Sam glances over but doesn't react, simply taking a sip of his coffee. Jake struts closer, emboldened by his audience. Hey there, big guy. You sure that truck of yours can handle all that weight? Might want to check your axle ratings. Little did Jake know that he was about to encounter someone completely different from what he expected. Sam turns slowly, his weathered face revealing not embarrassment, but a slight smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Actually, Sam says, his voice calm and measured. The truck's rated for 80,000 pounds gross vehicle weight. I'm sitting at about 79,000, well within DOT regulations. But I appreciate your concern for highway safety. Jake's smirk falters for a moment. He hadn't expected such a precise, intelligent response. The other bikers exchange glances, sensing the shift in dynamics. Smart mouth for a guy who looks like he hasn't seen his feet in years. Jake recovers, stepping closer. Bet you can't even fit behind the wheel without a shoehorn. Sam chuckles softly, a sound that carries surprising warmth. You know what they say, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. The tension in the parking lot thickens like the desert heat. Other truckers begin to notice the confrontation, some pausing their morning routines to watch. Jake feels the eyes on him and knows he needs to escalate or lose face in front of his crew. Fight! Jake laughs harshly. What kind of fight you thinking, Tubby? Eating contest? Because that's about the only competition you'd stand a chance in. But the real shock was still coming. Sam sets his coffee cup down on the hood of a nearby pickup truck, his movements deliberate and controlled. When he straightens up, something in his posture changes. A subtle shift that makes him seem less like a tired truck driver and more like someone with hidden depths. How about a race? Sam says quietly, his words cutting through the morning air like a blade. Jake blinks, certain he's misheard. A what now? A race, Sam repeats, louder this time. Your bike against my truck. Desert highway 20 miles out and back. Unless you're worried about losing to a guy who supposedly can't see his own feet. The parking lot falls silent except for the distant hum of air conditioning units and the occasional diesel engine. Jake stares at Sam as if seeing him for the first time. This isn't how these encounters usually go. The fat truck driver is supposed to back down, mumble an apology, maybe scurry away in embarrassment. You're serious? Jake asks, his voice betraying genuine surprise. Sam nods, that enigmatic smile still playing at the corners of his mouth. Dead serious. Unless you're not as fast as that bike makes you look. One of Jake's crew members, a stocky man named Rex, leans forward on his bike. Boss, this is crazy. Guy's probably never gone over 55 in his life. But Jake is studying Sam's face now, searching for signs of fear or uncertainty. Instead, he finds something that makes his stomach tighten: confidence. Real, unshakable confidence. This decision would change everything for both men, though neither could imagine how profoundly their worlds were about to shift. All right, trucker, Jake says slowly, his voice carrying a new note of respect despite himself. You want to embarrass yourself in front of everyone here? That's your choice. Desert highway 20 miles out to the old water tower and back. Winner takes bragging rights and... He pauses, thinking, loser buys breakfast for everyone here. Sam extends a weathered hand. Deal. Jake shakes it, surprised by the firm grip and the calluses that speak of years of hard work. As their hands separate, Sam turns and walks toward his truck. A pristine Peterbilt 379 that gleams despite the desert dust. Give me 10 minutes to do my pre-trip inspection, Sam calls over his shoulder. Safety first, right? As Sam disappears around his trailer, Jake's crew gathers around him. Rex shakes his head in disbelief. What the hell just happened here, Jake? Since when do you race trucks? Jake watches Sam's truck, noting details he'd missed before. The custom exhaust stack, the perfectly maintained chrome, the way it sits just slightly different than a standard rig. Something nags at the back of his mind, a feeling that he's walking into something bigger than a simple prank gone wrong. I don't know, Jake admits quietly, his eyes never leaving Sam's truck, but I got a feeling we're about to find out exactly who that trucker really is. The crowd of onlookers at the truck stop grows thicker as Sam walks toward his 18-wheeler, his heavy boots crunching against the gravel. The bikers watch him with a mixture of confusion and growing respect, their earlier mockery replaced by genuine curiosity. Jake Henderson adjusts his leather vest and exchanges glances with his crew, wondering what they've gotten themselves into. But to understand why Sam accepted this challenge with such quiet confidence, we need to go back 15 years to a very different scene. The roar of engines fills the air, not from motorcycles or trucks, but from sleek Formula cars racing around the Phoenix International Raceway. Among the drivers weaving through traffic at breakneck speeds is a younger, leaner Sam Thompson, his hands steady on the wheel as he navigates turn 4 with surgical precision. That's Thompson in the number 47 car, moving up to third place. The announcer's voice booms over the crowd's cheers. This kid from Arizona has been turning heads all season with his natural talent behind the wheel. Sam's racing career had been everything he'd dreamed of since childhood. Sponsorship deals, magazine covers, and a promising future in NASCAR stretched before him like an open highway. His crew chief, Marcus Rodriguez, would shake his head in amazement after each qualifying session. Sam, you've got something special. Most drivers take years to develop that kind of instinct. But life has a way of rewriting even the most carefully planned stories. Back in the present, Sam opens his truck's hood and begins checking the engine with the methodical precision of someone who understands machinery at a molecular level. His thick fingers, which the bikers had dismissed as clumsy, move with surprising dexterity as he adjusts the air intake and checks the turbocharger. Years of maintaining his own race cars had taught him that every component matters, especially when victory hangs in the balance. Jake approaches cautiously, his swagger replaced by genuine interest. You seem to know what you're doing under there. Sam looks up, wiping his hands on a cloth. Every machine has its own personality. You just have to know how to listen. He taps the side of his truck affectionately. This old girl and I have been through a lot together. Meanwhile, Jake's crew gathers around their motorcycles, and the stakes of this impromptu race begin to escalate. Tommy, the youngest of the group, pulls out a crumpled $20 bill. I'm betting the trucker surprises us. Did you see how calm he was when Jake called him out? You're crazy, laughs Rico, revving his Harley. Jake's never lost a road race. That truck driver's just putting on an act. But Diesel, the oldest of the bikers with graying temples and scars that tell stories, watches Sam with narrowed eyes. I don't know, boys. Something tells me we're not seeing the whole picture here. The betting intensifies as more truckers and travelers gather around. $100, then $200, then $500 ride on the outcome. Word spreads through the truck stop like wildfire, and soon CB radios crackle with news of the impending race between the mysterious trucker and the notorious biker gang. As Sam continues his preparation, he reaches up to his sun visor and pulls down a faded photograph. The image shows a younger version of himself in a bright red racing suit, surrounded by his pit crew and holding a trophy. His thumb traces over the faces of his former teammates, and for a moment, his composed exterior cracks just enough to reveal the weight of memories he carries. Those were different days, he murmurs to himself, tucking the photo back into its hiding place. A small crowd has gathered, including several veteran truckers who lean against their rigs with knowing looks. One of them, a weather driver named Bill Morrison, nudges his companion. "That's Sam Thompson," he whispers. "Used to tear up the racetracks before he started hauling freight." "No way," his friend responds, studying Sam's figure. "You sure about that?" But before Bill can answer, Sam closes his hood with a resounding clang and turns to face Jake with a smile that carries 15 years of untold stories. The desert wind picks up, swirling dust around the assembled crowd as the tension reaches a fever pitch. The bikers mount their machines, engines roaring to life in perfect harmony. Sam climbs into his cab, and the deep rumble of the diesel engine sends vibrations through the ground that everyone can feel in their bones. As both parties prepare to leave the truck stop for the open desert road, one question hangs in the air like the shimmering heat mirages on the horizon. Who exactly is Sam Thompson, and why does he race like a man with nothing left to lose? The roar of engines cuts through the desert air as Sam's 18-wheeler and the 5 Harley-Davidsons line up at the makeshift starting line. Jake revs his bike, the sound echoing off the canyon walls. But his cocky grin from earlier has been replaced by something more serious. He's noticed the way Sam adjusted his mirrors with professional precision, the careful way he checked his tire pressure, and most telling of all, the calm confidence in the big man's eyes. "On my mark," shouts Tommy, one of the younger bikers who's volunteered to flag them off. The desert stretches ahead for miles, a straight shot toward the distant mountains with nothing but sagebrush and opportunity between them. Sam grips the wheel of his Peterbilt, feeling the familiar weight of the steering wheel in his hands. For a moment, he's not in Arizona anymore. He's back at Daytona, 22 years old with the world at his feet, hearing the crowd roar as he takes the lead in the final lap of his first NASCAR Cup Series race. "Go!" The bikers shoot forward like bullets, their lightweight machines instantly gaining ground. But Sam isn't worried. He knows something they don't about desert racing. It's not about the start. It's about endurance, strategy, and knowing when to make your move. The truck's engine responds with a deep, powerful growl as Sam shifts through the gears. Behind the wheel, his transformation is complete. Gone is the slow-moving, easygoing trucker from the diner. In his place sits a man who once commanded respect on the most dangerous tracks in America. Jake glances back, expecting to see the truck falling behind, but his eyes widen in shock. Not only is Sam keeping pace, but he's gaining ground. The way the truck moves through the desert terrain isn't random. It's calculated, following the perfect racing line that most people would never even notice. "What the hell?" Jake mutters, downshifting as he leans into a slight curve. The other bikers are starting to spread out, but Sam's truck seems to anticipate every bump, every dip in the terrain. Back at the truck stop, word is spreading fast. A cluster of drivers has gathered around old Pete Martinez, a weather trucker who's been running these routes for 30 years. "I'm telling you, that's Sam Thompson," Pete insists, pointing toward the dust cloud in the distance. "Used to race stock cars back in the day. Won 17 races in 3 seasons before he just up and disappeared." "You're crazy," laughs another driver. "That's just Big Sam from the coffee shop. Guy can barely fit in his cab." But Pete shakes his head, his voice dropping to an almost reverent whisper. Sam Thompson was going to be the next Dale Earnhardt. Had sponsors throwing money at him, teams begging him to sign. Then one day he was just gone. Some say it was an injury, others say family troubles, but nobody really knows what happened to make him walk away from all that glory. Out in the desert, Jake is discovering exactly what happened to make Sam Thompson legendary. The truck has closed the gap completely, and now Sam is doing something that should be impossible. He's overtaking motorcycles in an 18-wheeler. The bikers watch in disbelief as Sam's truck pulls alongside Jake's Harley. Through the passenger window, Jake catches sight of Sam's face, and what he sees there makes his blood run cold. This isn't the mild-mannered trucker they mocked at the diner. This is a predator in his element, completely focused, completely in control. Sam downshifts and hits the accelerator, and the massive truck surges forward with surprising agility. The desert floor vibrates under the weight of 50,000 pounds moving at highway speed, but Sam handles it like it's a sports car. "Impossible," breathes Jake, but the proof is right there beside him, and now pulling ahead. The other bikers are falling back one by one. Their bikes no match for Sam's combination of skill and determination. What was supposed to be an easy victory lap is turning into the most humbling experience of their lives. As they approach the halfway point marked by a distinctive red rock formation, Sam has taken the lead by a full truck length. But something's wrong. A thin wisp of black smoke is starting to trail from beneath his hood. Jake sees it too and feels an unexpected pang of concern. Whatever his initial impressions of Sam were, he's developed a grudging respect for the man's abilities. But as the smoke grows thicker, Jake realizes they're about to find out just how much this race really means to both of them. The truck's engine gives an ominous cough, and Sam's face tightens with concern. In the desert heat, with miles still to go, this could turn from a friendly competition into a life-or-death situation faster than anyone realizes. The desert heat shimmers around Sam's truck as black smoke begins pouring from under the hood. His engine sputters, then lets out a grinding mechanical wail that echoes across the barren landscape. Sam's knuckles whiten on the steering wheel as he feels the power drain away beneath him, the truck losing speed with each passing second. "Come on, baby," he whispers, patting the dashboard like he's comforting an old friend. "Don't quit on me now." Behind him, the roar of motorcycles grows louder. Jake and his crew are closing the gap fast, their engines screaming through the desert air. But something strange happens as Jake pulls alongside the struggling truck. Instead of the triumphant grin everyone expects, his face shows something else entirely: concern. Jake's been watching Sam handle that truck for the past few miles, and what he's seen has shaken him to his core. This isn't some amateur fumbling with an 18-wheeler. Every turn, every gear shift, every calculated risk Sam has taken screams of professional experience. The way Sam navigated that hairpin curve 5 minutes ago? Jake's seen moves like that before, but only on television watching professional racing circuits. The mechanical failure forces Sam to make an impossible choice. He can nurse the truck to the finish line, playing it safe but likely losing, or he can push the failing engine to its absolute limit, risking a complete breakdown but maintaining his lead. Sam's jaw sets with determination as he downshifts and floors the accelerator. The engine protests with a scream of metal on metal, but the truck lurches forward with renewed power. Jake finds himself at his own crossroads. His crew is shouting behind him, urging him to take advantage of Sam's mechanical troubles. This is his moment. The fat truck driver is vulnerable, and victory is within reach. But Jake's hands hesitate on his handlebars. Something about Sam's courage, his refusal to give up even when his truck is literally falling apart, strikes a chord deep in Jake's chest. "Boss!" Tommy shouts from behind, pulling up alongside Jake's bike. "Now's our chance. His truck's about to blow." But Jake's eyes are fixed on Sam through the truck's side window. The man's face is calm, focused, almost serene despite the chaos erupting under his hood. It's the face of someone who's been in situations like this before, someone who knows how to find peace in the eye of the storm. The other bikers are experiencing their own moment of reckoning. What started as a simple bet, a chance to humiliate someone they saw as beneath them, has transformed into something deeper. They're watching a man refuse to surrender, and despite themselves, they're beginning to admire his tenacity. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to the racers, a figure stands atop a distant ridge, binoculars trained on the unfolding drama below. Marcus Rodriguez, Sam's former team manager from his racing days, has been tracking this race from the beginning. His weathered hands grip the binoculars tightly as he watches his former driver push a broken truck beyond its limits. "That's my boy," Marcus whispers to himself, a mixture of pride and pain in his voice. "Still got that fire." Marcus knows things about Sam that nobody else in this desert knows. He knows why Sam really left professional racing, and it wasn't because he wasn't good enough. The sacrifices Sam made, the dreams he abandoned, Marcus has carried that guilt for 15 years. Back on the desert floor, Sam's truck begins to slow again, steam now joining the black smoke pouring from the engine. His lead is evaporating, and Jake's decision point has arrived. The finish line is visible in the distance, maybe 2 miles ahead, but Sam's truck might not make it another quarter mile. Jake's crew pulls up around him, their engines idling as they wait for his call. Victory is right there for the taking. All Jake has to do is twist his throttle and claim what should be his. But as he watches Sam fighting with every ounce of strength to keep that dying truck moving forward, Jake realizes this race stopped being about winning a long time ago. The question hanging in the desert air isn't whether Jake will win or lose. The question is what kind of man he chooses to be in this moment, when victory would come at the cost of his newly awakened respect for his opponent. As Sam's truck lurches forward on sheer willpower alone, Jake must decide whether honor matters more than triumph. The desert air hangs thick with tension as Jake stares at Sam's disabled truck, smoke rising from its engine bay. For a moment that feels like eternity, the biker leader wrestles with himself. His crew watches, waiting for him to exploit this golden opportunity to cruise past Sam and claim victory. But something in Sam's calm determination as he pops the hood, something in the way the man never once complained or made excuses, strikes Jake differently than he expected. "Danny, grab my toolbox," Jake calls out, dismounting his Harley. His crew stares in disbelief as their leader walks toward Sam's truck instead of racing past it. "Boss, what are you doing?" one of the bikers shouts. "This is our chance." Jake ignores them, approaching Sam, who's already elbow-deep in his engine. "Looks like your cooling system's shot," Jake observes, his tone stripped of its earlier mockery. Sam glances up, surprise flickering across his weathered face. "Yeah, old girl's been running hot for weeks. Should have fixed her properly instead of just patching things up." He wipes sweat from his brow with the back of his hand. "Don't let me hold you up. Go finish your race." But Jake's already rolling up his sleeves. "My old man was a mechanic before he became a trucker. Taught me everything about engines before I ever touched a motorcycle." He reaches for Sam's toolbox. "Besides, winning against someone with a broken truck doesn't prove anything." The other bikers exchange confused glances, but something shifts in their expressions as they watch their leader work alongside the man they'd been mocking an hour earlier. Slowly, one by one, they kill their engines and walk over to help. 20 minutes later, Sam's truck roars back to life, its engine purring like it hasn't in months. Jake steps back, wiping his hands on an old rag, and for the first time all day, the two men look at each other without the weight of competition between them. "Why?" Sam asks simply. Jake shrugs, but his eyes are serious. "Because my dad always said you can tell everything about a man by how he handles his worst moment. And you, friend, you never once lost your cool or blamed anyone else for your troubles." They complete the race side by side, neither pulling ahead of the other. When they cross the makeshift finish line at the truck stop, a small crowd has gathered other truckers, a few locals, even the gas station attendant. But instead of declaring a winner, both men simply shut off their engines and shake hands. "I owe you the truth," Sam says quietly, loud enough for everyone to hear. "About 15 years ago, I was Sam Thunder Thompson. Raced NASCAR for 8 seasons, had 3 top 5 finishes, was climbing the ladder toward the big leagues." Jake's eyes widen. Several of the older truckers nod knowingly. They'd suspected but never said anything. "But then my wife got sick," Sam continues, his voice steady but soft. "Cancer. The medical bills, the travel for treatments, being away from her during racing season. I had to choose. Racing was my dream, but she was my everything." He looks around at the assembled faces. "So I learned to drive truck. Better hours, steady pay, could be home more nights. She fought for 3 more years because of that choice. Lost her in the end anyway. But those 3 years," his voice catches slightly, "those 3 years were worth every trophy I never won." The silence stretches out over the desert evening, heavy with understanding and respect. "After she passed, I just kept driving," Sam adds. "Found peace in it. Found purpose helping other drivers on the road. delivering goods that matter to people. Turns out there's more than one way to be a champion. Jake removes his leather jacket and extends it towards Sam. This belonged to my father. He always said it should go to the most deserving trucker he ever met. I think I finally found him. Sam accepts the jacket with obvious emotion. I can't take this, son. Yes, you can, Jake insists. Because today you taught me something more valuable than winning any race. You taught me what real strength looks like. As the sun sets over the Arizona desert, the truck stop transforms into an impromptu celebration. Someone lights up a grill, others break out folding chairs and coolers. The bikers share stories with the truckers, barriers dissolved by shared respect and understanding. Jake's crew, initially bewildered by their leader's change of heart, find themselves genuinely enjoying the company of men they dismissed as beneath them. Sam sits in the center of it all, Jake beside him, both men watching their unlikely community come together. The leather jacket hangs comfortably on Sam's shoulders, not because it fits his body, but because it fits his character perfectly. You know what the funny thing is? Jake muses, cracking open a soda. We came here thinking we were so tough, so superior. But the toughest man any of us met today was the one we thought would be the easiest target. Sam chuckles, raising his own drink. Sometimes the biggest surprises come in the most ordinary packages. As night falls over the desert, the lesson becomes clear to everyone present. True strength isn't about what you look like or what you ride. It's about who you choose to be when nobody's watching, and how you treat others when you have nothing to gain from kindness. The bikers never again judged someone by appearances, and Sam? He found a new family among the most unexpected people. Because sometimes the very people who mock you are just waiting for someone to show them what real character looks like. What moment in your life changed how you see other people? Share your story in the comments. I read every single one, and your experience might inspire our next video.